sisters.
Howdy, brothers.
Welcome back to another motherfucking episode.
Whiskey and water.
Whiskey and water. All right. We have an amazing episode today for you guys with Ananda from Nua Swim. She recently launched her brand, but she has somewhat of a similar timeline where she started as a blogger and an influencer and also is a freaking mom, like mom goals.
Yeah, truly.
And she founded her own swimwear line, and it's so cool to hear her story. We actually got the pieces, and they are so beautiful and well made.
Love the
They're
bikinis.
so beautiful. And we just have a really great conversation and talk a lot about time management and just balancing everything. So you guys are going to absolutely love it.
Yeah. But before we get into that, let's do a little catch up, some little high low.
Hello.
No. Yeah, you're done. You're done. Give me the update, brother. What's been good with you?
Okay, we're going to start with the low because we like to end it on a high note. Honestly, I've been great lately. I've been really grateful for just everything and every day. I've been really present. I've been journaling every day. And yeah, but you know, of course there's lows in life. Cried yesterday. The sunset was so beautiful. It made me cry. And it was also pink. And it just reminded me of my friend Julia.
Dude, and I've been meaning to tell you, like, not for nothing. I've been like, whenever I see sunsets, I don't even know her, but like I think about her every single time. And like
I just got chills.
I mean that.
Oh my God.
And I think it's because either the day she died or like the day after there was a stunning
it was her
burial.
Burial.
There was a stunning sunset, and I remember texting you and being like, she's painting the sky for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, every time I see a really beautiful sunset like that, I think about her.
I love that so much. Yeah. And it was funny because I was like driving to meet my friend Carly for dinner, and it just like, you know, it's one of those things where like it's a sequence of events where then you're like, okay, like maybe this is, I don't know, just like feeling her energy and the fact that the timing lined up. And we picked a restaurant like that was an hour away from me, so I was like on the road at 6. I was wearing the flannel that I was wearing the day I found out she passed. So I was even thinking about that. And then I saw, and I had like this music on, and then I saw the sunset, and it was like so neon pink. And I just cried. And it was nice though, because I haven't really cried in weeks. So it was good to like let it out, especially like on a nice drive with the windows down.
So it's the best type of cry.
It felt really good. And then like every time I'd like, you know, go on a hill because I was on 95, I would like just get such a good panoramic view of like, so yeah, it was just a nice solid cry. And I want to say that's my low because it was sad, but at the same time it was like good, you know?
Yeah, everyone needs a good cry every once in a while.
I also cried this morning, but my high is that I got Botox.
Is that your high? Because we don't know if you love it yet.
No, I'm happy with it because I definitely like, I'm happy that the line isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Not that it was an insecurity at all, but just like every time I sat down to do my makeup, I was like, fuck, I gotta make a Botox appointment. Like it was just one of those things that kept coming up and I kept like kind of putting off or forgetting to do. So I'm super happy with the results, and it does feel better now.
Yeah,
like I woke up.
You're getting used to it.
I know. I feel like it's just not as frozen. Because I woke up a few days ago, and I was like, Jess, I hate how this feels. Like my forehead feels paralyzed, and it feels a little more like natural now. So I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I also got Botox. And I got some lip filler done.
Ooh, yes.
My second round of lip
and
filler.
Also it's a high because I'm just so grateful. Like, you know, we were talking about it and just like leaving there, I'm like, we just got like $1,300 worth of Botox for free. And I'm
guys, honestly though, shout out Peace Love Med.
They're the plug.
They are just next level. Like I would never trust anyone so blindly with my face.
Yeah, literally. Like I don't know what she did to me, and I don't even care. I'm like, I trust you.
Yeah.
Do what you have to do.
Yeah.
Don't make me look frozen.
And you can always go in for a consult. Like if you're like, I don't know like what I want, but I feel like I want a little bit of work done. They will just look at your face and just make you the best version of yourself.
Yeah, and they do these, and this is not an ad and not sponsored. We're just like gracious that they're giving us their free, excellent services. They also do these freaking nose jobs that are like non-invasive and it's non-surgical, and the before and afters are literally just wild. I'm like, how? It's like magic
because they're adding filler, so you'd think that it would like make the noses appear bigger.
But it balances it out.
It really is crazy. I'm like,
so I got a consultation for that. I'll probably get it done because why not?
Yeah, I mean, it goes away.
I was teetering on like, you know, I've always been like wanting to stay natural and this and that, but I'm like,
I stopped being natural the day I got my tits done.
If it helps me and like feel better about my side profile and like the pictures that I see, like why fucking not? And
Yeah.
she's gonna do it for free. So like truly why not? And I just feel very blessed and very thankful that we have perks like these. So that's my high.
Love that, brother.
What's going on with you in your life?
So my low was the turbulence on the plane.
Oh, hell no.
I flew to Nashville.
I'm like nervous sweating for you.
Like a few days ago. I literally was only there for 24 hours. And
Save a horse.
Bro,
I'm not a cowboy.
the fucking turbulence.
No. Immediately
like
no.
I'm not a
I am.
super paranoid person because I know it's a fact that no one has ever died from turbulence. So that's what I tell myself.
Right.
But bro, people were like grabbing onto fucking shit.
Oh.
And like grabbing hands.
No. Oh no.
Oh, I was drafting texts.
Oh no.
I was drafting texts.
I have like PTSD from turbulence. I've been in such bad turbulence that like
it's fucking scary, dude.
It gives me the worst flight anxiety.
It's fucking scary. And I was like, what am I going to tell the person next to me as the plane goes down? I'm like, what are we going to pray about?
You know, okay, so here's what helps me. There is this road in Hawaii. I don't know how to say it.
Hawaii?
No, there's like that's like not how you say Hawaii.
Oh,
apparently. Hawaii. Maybe it's that, yeah.
I mean, I'm not
I saw it on TikTok. But there was this road we went down to get to a beach and we were in a Jeep and it was for 30 minutes, just nonstop like this. Like it was a rocky ass road. I close my eyes and I just imagine myself in that Jeep. I'm like, I'm just on a rocky road. I'm not thousands of feet in the air.
I mean, there's rocky roads in the air.
I'm just on a road. I'm on ground. I am safe. That's what I tell myself.
Interesting.
I also do CBD.
I also pop some CBD.
No, I'll take CBD gummies. That helps. Like, yeah. And I also just surrender. I'm like, if it's my time, it's my time. I'm ready to go.
And that's what I go through in my head. I'm like, well, I can either choose to like freak out or I can just choose to surrender. And I'm like, well, I'm surrendering right now. But if the plane was really falling, would I be surrendering? Or would I be freaking the fuck out?
Yeah.
But I would like to think that if for some reason I die in a plane crash, just know I surrendered.
Okay. Yeah, same.
I was literally like,
we have it on tape.
I was like, I'm going to tell Olivia that I just want her to live a joyful life. I'm like, laugh for me.
Laugh the fuck up.
For me.
Moving on.
Live
I
like
cannot
Jess.
even handle that.
Experience life.
Move on. What's your high?
Creating all my death hashtags.
Let's not.
My high was that I went to Nashville.
Okay.
And it was so much fun. I literally went, I flew in on like a Tuesday
she said
evening.
24 hours in Nashville.
And then I flew out Wednesday night.
Period.
And it was so nice. I just had such a great time.
And why did you fly into Nashville?
I ate really good food. I took a hike.
Ate really good.
Shut up. I took a hike. I went into the woods.
Oh,
and
I'm sure you did.
Shut the fuck up.
Went to the woods. Okay.
There was like a creek. It was nice. It was nice.
I'm dead. Well, good. I'm glad. We love a little spontaneous adventure.
Yeah.
So fun.
So it was just so, and I'm like, I was just so blessed that like I had the flexibility and like while I was there, someone had asked me like, oh, like, do you like what you do? And I'm like, I no one really asks me that, I guess, because like they just assume, life is so fucking glamorous. But I was like, oh my God, I really like would not trade this for the world. Like what?
Yeah.
Life is so fucking dope.
Yeah, it truly is.
So, and I also, so that's my high. But I also started reading, I broke out the Kindle.
Yay.
Finally.
Kindle's having her moment.
Olivia got me a Kindle for Christmas, for those of you who don't know.
It's so great.
And I downloaded the first book I downloaded was The Power of Now, obviously.
Nice.
If you guys haven't read it, fucking read it.
I'm reading it right now on my Kindle.
Yeah, and I wanted to start off with a reread, but I was like, I've already read it. I need to like start off with something new.
Yeah.
So I have this massive list of books on my notes app. And so I downloaded The Secret.
Oh, cool.
Have you read that?
I did.
And I have never read it, and I felt like it was kind of still in the same vein. And it's just it's really about like the law of like attraction and stuff.
Yeah.
And
it's powerful.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Let me just start off with this. And it was like a pretty easy read. I haven't read it all the way, but It's like 200 pages. And
love that.
They said it would take like 2.5 hours to read. And I was like, I can knock that out in like a day.
Yeah. And I love, this is a pro tip too about the Kindle. And what I was telling Jess before I got it for her is that I love in the bottom left corner, it shows you how many minutes left or hours left you have of a book and of a chapter.
Mine is percentage. I think I can change it.
You can tap it and it changes. Yes, brother.
Would you look at that?
Yes, because it's so helpful when I'm reading because it's like 4 minutes left of the chapter. I'm like, perfect. I have 4 minutes. Like I can finish this.
So yeah, I was really happy that I like broke that out.
Good.
And I love
main character vibes.
It really is. And whenever I travel solo, I really just love reading, and I'm just excited to like do more of that this year.
Feel that. So good. I also have been reading that book on my Kindle right before bed every night. And it's so good because it's like the perfect way to transition into sleep. And I find myself, not because I'm getting bored of it, but I find it's like so peaceful that I find myself just like kind of like nodding out, and then I like put it down and fall right to sleep. Like it's really lovely.
Wow, I don't think I can relate to that. I'm gonna try though.
Yeah,
because even if I do get like tired and start dozing off, if I like put it away, I like
pick up your phone.
No, I won't pick up my phone. I'll just like sit there and like be awake. I like can't like fall asleep.
What I've been trying to do every night is do like a nightly journal, and what I've been journaling, and I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I finally started in February, is writing down like small moments that made today special.
Yeah, like the 5-minute journal has that, which I really love.
And like that's just like the main thing for me to go along with this whole theme of like being super intentional about every day, and like this whole concept of time stamping, which I have shared with before, like once on the podcast, I think, where I'm just like saying the exact date.
I did that when I was in Nashville.
Good. And like you just do it like multiple times throughout the day, and it helps you just be like super aware of time passing. So like that kind of like accompanying that, like making sure every day there's like, and it could be the smallest moment, like me in my car looking at a bird outside, and like that's
the
what
sunshine coming in the window.
That's what made today
way.
Like special in its own way.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that, and then I'll read for a little, and then I'll just snooze my way into sleep, and it's lovely.
Oh, lovely.
It's so lovely.
Love that for you.
Okay, we're gonna get on.
No, we have more updates.
Okay. All right.
One, guys, I cut bangs.
She got bangs.
I got bangs.
She's a shaggy queen.
We don't know how we feel about it yet.
I love
but
it.
We'll keep you posted.
She's getting adjusted. She's so funny. Like Veronica, who comes and does our hair, she's like, girl, I know the whole process. Like just goes through phases of like in denial with the haircut, hates it, starts to like it, and then loves it.
Yeah, I'm currently on the precipice of hate. So we'll keep you guys posted, but you'll see it on my IG.
I felt so bad. I'm like, thank God Veronica doesn't like take it personally.
And I knew that she didn't.
Like, it's giving me bowl cut vibes. I was like,
it's giving mullet.
And then she's like, you know what? No, it's giving mullet straight up to her hairstylist's face. I'm like,
but she gave me what I want. Like she gave me what I wanted. It wasn't, and I obviously I'm not like,
I was shook.
I'm not like, you fucked up my hair.
No, yeah.
You know, I'm like, no, this is a me issue. Like, and I know that.
I just was like, oh my God, like.
Yes, but we really, guys, if you're in South Florida, we could not recommend Veronica enough.
Yes, Veronica's great.
Okay, second update. We had a really good meeting.
Yes,
early
did. You know what? I think I want to save that for.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's like the perfect thing for that episode.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
we're keeping that. Nope, we're keeping that.
Okay.
All right, guys. We will see you on the other side.
No, we still have our deep dive.
Just kidding.
Why are we so chaotic today?
Okay. All right. Deep dive.
Normally,
you go for it.
We would cut this out, but we're just gonna keep it.
Run it.
Keep it real with y'all. Okay. So the deep dive for this week. This is a site for those who are new here.
This is a double deep dive.
Yes, this is a segment that we do every episode
deep dive.
Dive into a partnership that we're doing. We talk about how we got it, what the deliverables are, and what the rate is, because we believe in influencer transparency.
Hell yeah, brother.
And rate transparency. So super excited about this. This is a really great one, y'all. So we have partnered with UFit, and
UFit is a
gym,
semi-local.
No, it's like
they don't have it like in like no, they're not. I think it's like an East Coast.
Okay.
East Coast type of thing.
Regional.
Yeah.
So UFit is like a commercial gym, and back in the day, actually in high school, I used to go there, but they reached out to us through Instagram DMs, and then we started talking through email, and they pretty much reached out saying like, hey, we just rebranded and we're looking for influencers to work with. So they came to us, which was always nice. I love when people come to us, especially with like good deals.
Yeah.
So they came to us, and basically they are requiring a minimum of 2 posts and 2 stories a month
with a maximum of 3 posts and
3
3
reels,
3
and
stories.
3 stories. So they are giving us like an option to do more, which is amazing.
Love that.
Because they're going to pay it. Like the more we post, the more they pay us.
Yeah,
And
it's a per post rate.
And it was also nice because they came to us right off the bat with like a little chart saying what the price of each deliverable will, you know, like what they'll pay for each deliverable. So actually Jess was able to negotiate that up. I kept it as is.
I found out that Macy was making more. Because I asked her, I was like, hey, what are you getting? And
see, and that's so important.
Because of influencer transparency, baby, I was able to negotiate more.
Yes, we love people who are in their bag and going out of their way to make sure that they're in their bag. So the rates for this, I actually might have to pull it up. I know for an in-feed post, I'm getting $500 per post, and a reel, I'm getting $800. And I think, and a story is $200, which are like this was before I raised my rates too. But like prior to that, such a great, because we're maxing it out, baby. So with all of the stories, in-feed posts, and reels, it comes out to $4,500 a month for me. That is an amazing partnership.
Yeah, and it's a 3-month partnership.
It's 3 months. So like, bless the F up. I am so thankful for this, and I'm just so excited because it's gym content. I need to get back in shape anyways.
Yeah.
For even Jess, it's
we're
even
working
more
out
natural.
Together. So it's good.
It's so good. I'm so thankful.
I negotiated, and this is also before I raised my rates. An IG feed post, $800, a video, 1,000, IG stories are $250, with a max of, 3 for each one. And that totals $61.50 per month.
Insane.
So we absolutely love this for me.
It is so good.
I've actually already introduced the partnership and posted about it, and
go and comment on it so we can keep it going.
Yes, guys, that's the best way to help us be in our bag.
Yes.
But yeah, so super stoked about that partnership.
Yeah.
And you guys know how aligned that is for me with, being on my fitness game right now.
Building her dumpy, her dump truck. Yeah. And I'm just so excited because it's like a 3-month thing. It's not like a one and done. So although I wasn't necessarily planning on being a fitness influencer this year, I guess we're
going
how
the cookie
for it.
crumbles.
It's true. And you do too for a check. And I'm excited because I do need to like get back in the gym. So it will motivate me.
And I can help her.
Yes. So good stuff, guys. Good
Very
stuff
excited.
all around. All right. We will not hold you any longer. Let's get into our episode. And if you liked today's episode so far, make sure to let us know. Shoot us a DM, tag us on Instagram, tell your friends about us. Send this at the end of the episode. If you found it helpful, send it to a few friends who would also find value in it. And that's the best way you can support us.
Thanks, guys. We will see you on the other side.
See ya.
All right, guys, we are on the other side with Ananda of Nua Swim. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Thank you, guys. I'm very good.
She's got the
in
beautiful
Florida, just
sunny
like
light on her.
Yes.
Miami, where the sun is always shining.
Truly.
Always.
It is a little bit cold today, though.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I came in with my freaking parka on. I'm like Floridians when it drops below 70 degrees. I'm like with my big ass thing.
Same. I took the kids to school and I had I looked like I was going to go skiing. That was ridiculous.
So for our audience who isn't already acquainted with you, tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So yes, my name is Ananda. I own a swim brand, Nua Swim. We're fairly new. Project I've been working on for quite a few years, but we just launched in October. And I started off as an influencer. I've been doing that for quite a few years. And as I got older and had my kids, I kind of wanted to shift gears and still stay, in the fashion industry, which I just absolutely love and always have loved. So, being Brazilian and living in Florida, it was just kind of like a perfect marriage to kind of just put my creativity and my passions towards swim. So.
Love that. And what's your background? Did you go to school for anything, like fashion merchandising, or what was that kind of journey like for you?
Yeah, no, I always had enormous love affair with New York City, even though I hate the colds. I joke that for me, hell is cold. It's not hot because I just hate cold weather. But I ended up going to college in New York, and I actually went to school for public relations and economics, which had absolutely nothing to do with what I ended up doing. But while I was living there, I ended up interning with, at the time, Lucky Magazine, which I don't think they even exist anymore, and Us Weekly. And when I was with Us Weekly, I did a lot of celebrity interviews and a lot of like their fashion aspect of the magazine. And I just really I totally fell in love with the creative aspect of the whole like fashion industry and what, you know, those magazines were like bringing out of me. Unfortunately, I ended up moving back to Orlando. Not unfortunately, I love living here, but had to leave New York. And when I got here, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? There's like nothing that really would like fulfill that part of me, that creative, you know, fashion part of me. So it's kind of how like my blog started, and, you know, just content creation and influencing. I kind of moved here when Instagram was just beginning. So it was almost like a perfect situation to just like roll into doing that, you know?
So cool. I want to know more about, you mentioned your blog, and excuse me. A lot of like influencers and content creators, like a blog is something that we don't really think twice about.
Right.
So I'm curious to know what that looked like for you in starting the blog, how you've maintained it, maybe the opportunities that have come for it. Like, I think a lot of people don't think it's worth it, but then I hear from others that like the SEO is amazing. Brands still really need like, you know, articles written up about them. So I want to know your take on that.
Yeah. So, when I started my blog, it was really, like I said, like in the beginning of like Instagram and all that. And it was like, I would take like 10 photos of my outfit and I post all 10 of them on my blog and just like tag all the brands. And it was really crazy how at that moment, even being really in the beginning of this whole industry, I had already had brands reaching out saying like, hey, we'll gift you this or we'll pay you for that, just to like, you know, because of SEO purposes, just like write something and just talk about it. And I really enjoyed it for a very long time. But then it's just so much work.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of work. And you have to be like wanting to have that creative hat on, not just to write, but to edit photos and to take pictures and to reach out to brands and to have that communication. And it just came a point where Instagram was just made more sense to just focus on that. So my blog ended up being something that I really would only post when a brand would reach out to me that wanted a post, you know? So it kind of became second thought, which I hear a lot of people say that's not a good idea, because it's nice to have like your own space that is not part of Instagram or Facebook or whatever. When you have your blog, like you have your own followers, you have your own, like your own thing. But you know, to me, honestly, like it still sits there. And since I started Nua, I definitely have done nothing on my blog, to be honest. And it's like, I just don't have the heart to get rid of it. So it's just sitting there. But I really just don't do anything with it, to be honest.
No, that's amazing, because it gave you, you know, it was like for a certain time in your career, and it was to launch you. And bloggers are the original influencers.
Yeah.
Before Instagram, before people were doing partnerships on Instagram, they were doing partnerships through blogs. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So like that's why, like, I feel like some of the most early OG influencers are the ones who started with a blog, you know?
Yeah. No, and it honestly taught me so much, even about just like building a website and coding and like things that, like, you know, these days, like if you just have Instagram, like you don't need to know that stuff. But it really came in handy for me. Like now with my website, you know, I hired someone to help me build the site, but now I do so much of the coding in the back that sometimes my husband's like, how do you even know how to do this shit? And I'm like, I don't know. I just know.
That's us from MySpace. We're like,
yeah, that's open. True. MySpace was like that too. Like add a background and music.
Open, close. Yeah, open, close. I love that. That's awesome.
And so were you able to do influencing full time for the past few years before launching Nua?
Yeah, like full time in a sense. Like to be fair, since I had my kids, that was really my full time. But aside from, it was more like part-time, I would say. But yeah, I mean, I got to partner, and I actually still keep some very special partnerships even though my focus is not that anymore, I still have like Revolve's like a great partnership I have that I will do whatever it takes to keep that.
Yeah.
So I still try to like keep a lot of the partnerships I like to have. But wow, sorry, just totally forgot what the question was.
Just if you were doing influencing full time before launching it.
Oh yeah. So no, yeah. So I was as much as I could have at the time. Like I'm sure if it wasn't for the kids, I would have been doing it a lot more.
And how old are your kids? Just out of curiosity.
4 and 6.
Oh, okay,
wow. So yeah, so what was that timeline? The timeline like? Like at what point did you have the first one, and in relation to like where you were at with influencing and the blog?
So I was about like 2 years in when I got pregnant. So not too much, but it was actually super helpful because I cannot tell you the amount of strollers I got from being like a pregnant, just like new mom influencers, like strollers, cribs, like bottles. Like it was just like amazing. Like I still gift strollers that I have from that time. So that was actually
awesome.
Like pretty cool journey, like to go from being strictly like beauty and fashion to like incorporating like mom things and just really like my life growing with, you know, being an influencer. And it's so crazy how you really can marry like the two things. If you're just showing your life, you know, you can really just evolve like super nicely.
I love that so much. And I feel like that's something I'm always explaining to people too. Like one of, I think, the biggest blessings of this career path of being a content creator and an influencer is that it's not like it has, you know, a dead end. It's not like, oh, when I'm 30, I have to stop doing this. Or like, even like the way modeling is, it's like you age out of it. And like being a creator, there's no aging out of it. Like you literally just change your content for whatever phase you are in life.
Yeah, and just like change 100%. Your path as well. Because even if you choose that you don't want to like be in front of the camera so much, you can like transition to being behind it. Or as you've done with this path, which is launching a brand. So kind of like stepping into that, like what was your original inspiration just behind, like what was like the first kind of like thought that popped into your brain that you were like, I want to do this?
For starting Nua?
Yeah.
Well, I think, yeah, like you said, there's no aging out of this business at all. But like for me, there was just kind of, I was just getting a little bored with it. And I think once that happens, you need to find something that's going to ignite like that passion in you. And, you know, I'm just not like a sit around and do nothing kind of personality. So if I'm bored, I'm like finding something to do.
Right.
And for me, like creating Nua and just having my brand in general was always something I wanted to do. Like entrepreneurship has been like a part of me since like I was a kid. Like literally, I would like spend my allowance like buying costume jewelry to sell to my neighbors. Like it was just always like something I wanted to be part of my life, and fashion obviously as well. So to start Nua, it was kind of just like I felt like it was the next step in my like career path. And you know, at the same time, like being Brazilian, when I moved here to the US, it was just such like the bikini culture in America was just so different than there. Like me and my friends, like we would be like, oh, let's go find a bikini for the summer, and we could never find anything we liked because like, you know, they're just bigger cuts and they're just different, you know. And we would just like, whenever we'd go to Brazil, we'd come back with like bags of bikinis so we could wear them here. And so it was just always something I thought I wanted to bring. And also like the spirit of Brazil and that Brazilian flavor, which I think is so infectious and so lively and so fun. And so when I was creating Nua, it was twofold. Like I wanted the brand to evoke feelings, to evoke confidence, which if you go to Brazil, like you will find women of all shapes and sizes wearing the tiniest bathing suits. They don't give a shit. Like you're just being confident in who you are. The bikini doesn't matter. You're wearing what you want. And I think that's part of like what I wanted to bring out of the brand. And I know that had nothing to do with what you asked me, but I just went in like a tangent.
It has everything to do with it though. I love that so much because that was actually one of the questions that I had written down, is just like asking you where Nua has such a strong brand identity, you know, and I feel like a lot of people might struggle when they're thinking of a concept to start a business. I feel like where they struggle is like that identity aspect. So I love that, like for you, it's like, you know, you pulled these different inspirations from like real aspects of your life and put it into the brand.
Yeah, 100%. I always, when I was starting this brand, I was like, I want this brand to have a personality. I wanted to evoke a feeling like, you know, we have a Spotify account that has a bunch of like Brazilian music or like
Oh, I
cool
love
vibes.
that.
And then all our packaging and a lot of our wording is like in Portuguese, not complicated, but just to like, you know, it's a personality of the brand. Like it's its own like living thing almost, you
I
know?
love that. I love that so much. And it's nice because it's like when you start a brand, it's like you get out what you put in. And I feel like people can, yeah, you can like, you know, white label bathing suits from China and slap a
Mm-hmm.
label on it and order some stickers off of
100%.
like Sticker Mule,
Alibaba.
whatever. Yeah, but it's like it truly is like you can just show the companies that really have passion behind them and like care about what they're doing and think about things like a Spotify playlist. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like so many people just like skip those really valuable, important steps. And like to a consumer, like that's what I want to see. That's where I want my money to go. You know what I
Right.
mean? Not like these shitty quality China, you know, bathing suits with
Yeah.
that are thrown together.
No, for sure. And like even for me, when I was, you know, just budgeting everything and just pre-planning of the brand, obviously I would make so much more money if I was making my clothes in China. And I would have made so much money if I hadn't even designed it myself, because you can just white label anything and like
Right.
put my brand on it and call it a day. Like just creating a sample of a bathing suit, like the process, the time, the cost, finding fabrics, getting like a print designer to work with and create your unique prints, like those things are so like they're so intense. And like you know, you don't think about it like before, but when you're in the middle of it, you're like, holy shit, if I knew it was gonna be like this much work, I don't know how much I would have like really jumped into it. Obviously I would have, because I'm so passionate about it, but a lot of people don't realize, and I think that's why a lot of people quit halfway. But it would have been so much easier to go that route. And there's so many places in like Bali and China that do like pre-made white label stuff that you just put your label on it. But you know, for me, being like ethically made in the US was super important. I heard so many horror stories of like, you know, brands that manufacture overseas and then end up finding out their factory is like, you know, full of children, like, or people working ungodly hours. And I just didn't, you know, I want to go to sleep at night and I want to do good too. Like, I think that's so important, is to like have a brand that's not only like made well, but it's environmentally friendly. You know, a portion of all our sales, we donate to Brazil Foundation's Amazon Fund, which helps like the biodiversity of the Amazon, which is really important for me too. So it was just like a lot of little details that I thought was very important. If I was going to do this, I was going to do it right, or I wasn't going to do it
Mm-hmm.
at all. That was
Yeah.
basically like my thought.
So good.
And I think it's important to have that like that clear why and that clear like brand values and morals, because it really does shine through in the brand. You know,
Mhm.
you can tell that you're not like skipping corners, and you know, like it's just it gives the consumer so much more confidence in what they're purchasing. But I would love to talk about like that entire, you know, process that you were mentioning, which is like, you know, the samples and the manufacturing and, you know, choosing to make these really tough decisions. And there's so many moving parts. So where did you even like begin with that process?
I began with, I mean, I think step one was finding a manufacturer that could produce these samples for me, which was super hard. Like I went through several different ones, and it was right in the middle of COVID. So there was so much time restrict. Like I initially wanted to launch my brand over the summer, last summer, but I got delayed so many times that I ended up launching in October, which was like not ideal at all to launch a swim brand, but you know, it's what had to happen. But I went through several manufacturers, and a lot of money spent to like literally that bathing suit went in the trash because it was just terrible. Like, and that happens, and you have to be prepared for that. Like, whatever my initial budget was for development, it was a joke. Like, it's not what it ended up being at all, because you don't realize like how many different times you're going to have to, okay, this is not the best partnership, let me go find a different manufacturer. And then you have to create the samples all over again, and you need to buy more fabric, and it's a process. But you know, I feel like that is probably the hardest thing, is just finding that company, that manufacturer that you can connect with and gets you, and you get them, and then you, once you have that, you have like a good foundation.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things that it's just trial and error. Like, there's no way around it. You literally just have to get through it and try a bunch of different things, and like patience too. Like, so much patience.
Oh yeah. I'm like, I want everything for like yesterday personality. Like, I have no patience. So that process was like horrible for me. And even is now, like, I'm still like developing like new styles for like the next collections, and I'm always like, okay, like, when are we getting my samples? Like, when are we getting my samples?
And I imagine it's almost like an emotional roller coaster too, because like you think that you're getting closer to like a certain goal, and then it's like a setback, and you're like, nope, that's not gonna work. We're gonna have to try it this way. Okay, maybe nope, we're setback. So yeah, 100%. I think just a huge skill needed to learn in this journey, and just patience. Like, you really have to just be okay with that.
I don't even think so, though. I actually don't agree.
Tell me.
Because I feel like not having that patient personality, like having, you know, like that, you know, that itch to like constantly, like, that you're the one moving the brand along. And I feel like, you know,
I think patience as far as setbacks.
I mean, yeah, I think that every entrepreneur has to be okay with setbacks. I don't really think like, I don't know if I agree that like patience is like, you know, entirely, you know, necessary, just because I feel like having, you know, like I said, like that itch to like move things forward is, you know, what's going to really like propel the brand, because like you're the only one that's like vetting for yourself. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So like constantly following up with them, making sure that, you know, shit is getting done, especially when you're not there in person. And it's like, you know, you're communicating with someone across the nation, you know, via WhatsApp, and, you know, like you constantly have to be on their ass to kind of
100%.
Make sure
and
shit's getting done.
Because I'm like probably their smallest client. So they have huge clients, like they don't really pay a lot of attention to me, you know? So I really have to be like, oh, did you forget about me? Like, you know?
I think patience, not in a sit around and wait. I'm more so like being okay with like things coming out not exactly the way you want it. Setbacks really is the word, is the approach versus like,
and learning to like channel that frustration too, because a lot of times I feel like I'll design a piece and then it comes and we can go back and forth like 10 times.
Yeah, easily. That's what I mean. It's like not getting upset over that. Yeah. It's just a part of the journey. Like,
which
just
I get upset.
Yeah.
Not at them, but like, I'm like, get frustrated. I'm like, oh my God, like how many times is this?
Of course. And you're so invested, you know, like, and you're putting, like, it's so tough when you're putting like your own hardworking dollars,
your
like,
baby,
and you're seeing yourself like piss away money every single time you have to like make a new sample or make like a really small adjustment, and at that point you're like, do I really want to be doing this?
Yeah, it's such a journey. I want to know more about mentally, like stepping into the role as a founder. Like, we're really honing in this season on female founders, and I love that you have this timeline that's like, you know, you started in the influencer creator space, and then you stepped into this like founder role. And I want to know what that looked like for you. Like, if you felt any sort of imposter syndrome, or, you know, if you had tools and resources, like if you read books, like what did that look like?
Yeah. So, you know, I'm lucky enough that my husband is like ultra entrepreneur. He has like a bunch of businesses. So he was super helpful to me in the sense of like guiding me in the right directions with a lot of things that I would have not had a clue how to do or where to begin. So that was extremely helpful. And I think for anybody starting a business, if you can find like just somebody to kind of mentor you and make sure, like, even from something so stupid as like an accountant and taxes, like just to have somebody guide you through those things, and, you know, that you can reach out to anytime, I think is so important. So I think that was a major help for me, for sure. I think the biggest hurdle for me was kind of time management because of the kids and my husband, and just like any beginning of a business just requires so much out of you, and so much time and energy, and it was really just trying to balance, like, okay, how am I going to give this 100% but then also give 100% to my family? That was hard. And I'm still hard, and I still struggle with that, and thank God, like, my husband understands that a lot of nights I'm going to have to sit in front of the computer and work instead of like have a glass of wine and watch like Euphoria. Like I can't do that every night.
Yeah.
So it's like, just kind of having to figure out that balance was and still is like a huge thing I have to deal with.
And I really love what you said about like your husband, being entrepreneurial, because I feel like that's such an underrated, part of like a partnership, is because like he was like a mentor to you. And I feel like a lot of people can see that on the surface level and be like, oh, well, her husband, is an entrepreneur, like, helped her guide through.
She has an upper hand.
Yeah. But realistically, that's just a mentor.
Yeah.
And, like,
that's it.
Anyone kind of trying to enter, this space or any space should be looking to mentors to help guide you in so many things that like they've done their own, trial and error, and they've had their own ups and downs and just want to help you avoid those. And I feel like that's such an underrated part of entrepreneurship. Like we do have such an amazing community to like lean on, and people do want to help. Of course, I think we've even like spoken about this in past episodes. Like there's a way to approach it, of course, if it's not like your husband or something. But course. There's so many resources out there. And to your point of like, even you said something as stupid as like accounting and taxes. Let me tell you right now, not fucking stupid. So important. And no one teaches you this shit.
No,
like it's crazy. Like we called our accountant the other day and we were like, hey, Robert, like we have no idea what we're fucking doing.
Yeah.
I
think it's
and that's okay. I think it's okay to like
it's
not
so okay.
know.
Yeah.
It's okay to not know and ask and figure out, like, you don't have to know everything. I don't fucking know everything. I don't know anything.
No.
I don't know anything.
Yeah.
We're just learning, and that's fine. And I think that that's noble to be like, hey, I don't know. I need help.
Exactly.
Like, it's okay to say that.
I was just going to say the same thing, and I love that word you use, noble, because I think so many people, what stops them is that they don't want to look like they don't know what they're doing. And it's like the best thing you can say to someone is, hey, I don't fucking know what I'm doing. Like it's so
just be vulnerable.
It's so nice that we have that relationship with our accountant, because like with someone else, I'd be like a little embarrassed. I'd be like, I'm 26 years old. I don't really understand how fucking taxes work. And to Robert, we're like, Robert, we have no idea what we're doing. He'll say something and we have no problem being like, wait, what is that?
Speak to me as if I'm a 5-year-old.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. And I think that's such an important like skill that people can work on nurturing, is like being vulnerable in the things that you don't know. Like it is okay.
And admitting it.
And also realizing like, we're scared that like the person's going to judge us, but also if that person's judging you, like that's on them. That's, I don't know. It's not on you.
And that person one day didn't know it either. So,
exactly.
They had to learn and figure it out. So I think people that are judging you like that, they need to check themselves. Like they don't need
exactly.
To be doing that.
Like that's on them. And like your journey is gonna just come out better if you're just honest with people with where you're at, even when we were starting like our content creation agency with the podcast, we were like, how are we gonna rebrand to like entrepreneurship when we're just starting this business? And then we were like, well, we'll just be super transparent. Like, hey guys, we're gonna start this thing. We have no idea what the fuck we're doing. Come along with us.
Yeah.
And I think people admire that more than like people that are just trying to fake it,
Right.
And you had mentioned like the time management and that being like a real hurdle for you. So I'm curious, what changed for you? Was it like mental, blocks? Did you have to like do something physical, like with your calendar? Was there like an app that you used? Like, what was that kind of like for you?
I think for me, it was more of like realizing that not having my time management like correctly like set was kind of like affecting my mental health. Like I was so stressed out. I was having so much anxiety. I wasn't like showing up like properly like as a mom, because I always said like I want to, the minute the kids get out of school, my computer's off, I'm only looking at my phone if it's like an emergency until like they go to bed. So I can really focus on that time with them. So I found myself, because I was like all over the place, not being able to do that, and then being that with them, but being frustrated because I had to do X, Y, Z. So I was like, okay, I need to figure this out. And I actually, I have a therapist I talk to once a week, which I think is so helpful. And just side note, I hate the stigma that some people have with like therapy. I think therapy is amazing. You don't just do therapy when you're going through shit. You do therapy just to like have a balanced life, I feel like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, and in talking to her and realizing like, okay, I need to go back and focus on my exercise and my meditation and things that like really ground me. So my routine now is like, I wake up at 5. From 5.
Ooh, she's a 5 a.m.er.
I'm a 5 a.m.er.
Love it.
From like 5 to 6, 6:30, that's my alone time, which is something I realized that I wasn't having. And for my personality, like I totally need that. Like I need a time where I know no one's going to ask me for anything. No one's going to email me. My kids don't need me. My husband doesn't need me. Like no one's bugging me at 5 a.m. Like no one.
Love
so
that.
Even my dog's asleep. Like no one's bugging me. So from 5 to like 6, 6:30 is like, I do my meditation, I do my exercise, I take my shower like peacefully, I get ready like super chill. By the time the kids and the husband are waking up, like I'm already drinking my matcha, you know, like I'm cool. So that made a huge difference for me. And then also just, you know, every Monday I just write down like pen and paper every single thing I have to accomplish that week and scratch it off as I go. And that really helps me just have like a focus on what I have to get done. So those things like just really helped me with my time management and having like my mental health like on check.
I love that. We're huge proponents of pen on paper, so we can definitely,
so huge.
That resonates with us.
Yeah.
And I love what you said about like waking, and it's, you know, it's not really necessarily about the time that you're waking up, but it's like it's the
having
space,
that time,
having that time, like creating
Yeah.
that space. Like that could be, you know, another time for anyone else, but I also do think it's important that it's in the morning, because you're just setting your day up for success. Like you're able to show up so much better for your family, for your husband, for your job, for, you know, for everything, because you've created that space for yourself instead of like waking up and being in like fight or flight mode with the kids like screaming and like, you know, and I'm totally guilty of that. Like, you know,
no, and it makes a huge difference. Like the mornings that I don't wake up for some reason, like if we went out to dinner and I got home super late and I just didn't wake up at 5, my day's different. Like I'm not like sharp. I'm a little more like, you know, impatient, and it's just crazy like the difference it really makes. And like you said, like for me it has to be 5, because by 6:30 my house is awake and they have to get the kids ready for school, and that's just the time that it needs to be for me. I wish it wasn't that time, but it, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, like, and it makes total sense, because it's like, of course, if you start your day in a chaotic way, you're like energetically you're carrying that kind of chaotic energy throughout the day with you. And even like, you know, something like time blocking and time management, it sounds so like structured and almost like business oriented, but it's really just like a lifestyle and like a life hack, because it truly does trickle down to every other aspect of your life. Like you said, like if you're stressing out, you end up like resenting things that you shouldn't resent, and you're like, why is this happening? So I could not love that more. And so much of what you said resonated with me, even down to like the therapy. Literally was having a conversation yesterday with my friend, and I was like, I think I do need therapy, because like in my head I'm like, oh, you know, I'm okay, but it's like people who are okay need therapy too.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I even that was like validating, because I'm like, okay, that's a sign. I want to know, what time do you go to sleep?
10:30.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I know everyone has like, you know, can operate on different hours, but this whole 5 a.m. thing has been in my mind for a while.
Yeah.
I feel like the trick is going to sleep early so you can wake up early.
Yeah. It's like the kids go to bed around 8, and like, I just need that alone time with my husband too. Cause like for me, like from the moment I drop them off until I pick them up, I'm 100% focused on my work. And then they come home from school and it's just family time, kid time. So, you know, I need wife husband time too. So for us, like those moments are important. Of course, there's days that I have to do some work, but we try to do like a date night twice a week. And we try to have like, even if it's just watching something stupid on TV, just to have that moment when we're just sitting next to each other and we're just connecting. I feel like it's so important. And we go to sleep at the same time, like try to just keep little things that, you know, in the middle of the chaos still feels like we're together in this. You know?
Yeah, no, that's honestly so important. And I love that you mentioned that, because I think that's another thing. Like, that's a hard thing for entrepreneurs, especially. It's because you don't have this structure handed to you. So it's like you have to make it for yourself. And there's this concept that's been coming up on our show lately. Instead of like talking about balance, it's harmony. Yeah. So it's not like you're going to give an equal amount to everything. Like, you know, you're not going to be able to give 30% here, 30% here, 30% here. But like, it's more of just making sure that there's harmony with all of the pie, all of the slices of pie in the pie chart.
I love that. I love thinking about it like that. That makes so much sense.
I'm curious if you've read any, are you like a reader? Do you consider yourself a reader?
I used to be a huge reader, like literal, like book. Now I do, sometimes I would do like books on tape, but I'm just been really into podcasts lately. So it's basically what I listen to mostly.
Love that.
Awesome. And like, what are your like favorite podcasts or favorite books that you've even read in the past that you feel like have been, you know, helpful to your journey?
Right. So I recently, before I started waking up at 5, I listened to the 5 a.m. Club, which was amazing. I totally recommend it. It's a little different. It's like, it's a business book, but it's more in like a story format. But I thought it was super helpful. And just kind of like, even if you don't want to wake up at 5, it's just like, just creating a balance and a mindset for life and having a business. I thought it was so great. And podcasts, I really listen to a lot of podcasts like the ones you guys have, just like business, entrepreneurship, like women in business. And I just really like enjoy just finding out people's journeys and like how they got there and what they did, and you know, just learning things for myself. Like I even listened to a podcast from you guys, I forget her name, but she was like the Pinterest person,
Emma.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, like we don't have a presence, like a strong presence on Pinterest. So like I ran and I was like, okay, now I'm like having a meeting with Pinterest and like we're trying to figure out like our ad situation. And it's made like actually a huge difference on my site. Like the amount of people that come from Pinterest is insane. So I'm like, so yeah.
Wow, that makes me so happy. That's amazing.
Influenced me for sure.
Good. I'm so glad. Yeah. And I'm actually glad this was brought back up, because I wanted to mention this when we were talking about mentors. Like, yes, definitely like having someone hands-on with you in person is so great. And I think, you know, especially nowadays, there's so many ways and resources to network where you can get in touch with people, but also like podcasts are fucking mentors. Like
it's amazing.
It's books are mentors.
Yeah, it's literally mentorship. Like I learned about real estate investing from 2 years of listening to a real estate investing podcast. Like those guys are my freaking mentors. And I think it can be so underestimated sometimes, the power of these resources like podcasts and like books. But if you're looking for mentorship, like start there, because it's literally people sharing what they have learned from their lessons. Like every episode is that, you know?
It's that. And you do learn so much, even if it's not the same industry you're in. Like a lot of the problems are the same. So, you know, it's really just listening to their story and what they did and how they tackled their issues. And it's just, it's super, I feel, I mean, that's all. I don't even listen to music in my car anymore. Just listen to podcasts like all day.
Oh, it's so good. And even it's funny because like for the longest time, I was like only listening to like business podcasts and like real estate podcasts. And now I'm realizing that there's so much like influencer industry podcasts. I'm like, why am I not listening to the industry I'm literally in? And they're giving such helpful tips and information. And I'm like, it's a whole new world, because I'm like, wait, why? This is like expanding my, you know, it could be expanding my group of friends, basically. Like we're having a conversation about what we do, and I'm getting all this great information. So literally anything you're even interested in, there's a podcast for it.
Oh, for sure. I love it.
We're going to ask you 2 questions. We wrap up every episode with these 2 questions with a guest, and it's the same ones. So the first being, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received or ever or received lately? Because I feel like a lot of guests are kind of giving us like what's been resonating with them lately versus like best ever. So either of those.
Um, I think, trying to think, I think maybe just like listening to your gut is huge for me. That's advice I've received. And every time that I listen to myself and my instincts and like what a part of me is telling me to do, a direction to go, 9% of the time is the right way. And when I start second guessing myself and overthinking, which I'm a huge overthinker with certain things, but when I start going into that place is when I make mistakes, or when I decide not to do something that I should have done. So I think it's really just listening to yourself, because like listening to your gut, like, you know what's right for your business and for yourself, like more than anybody else.
Right.
So obviously, like, yes, we take advice from people, we listen to other people's opinions, but at the end of the day, I think like your true gut feeling should speak louder.
I think that's so true. And I love that you said that. And I feel like it might be a little like underestimated as well. And I feel like maybe people don't know how to listen to their gut. So I honestly, not to veer too much off track, but I'm curious as to like how you listen. Like, what does that mean to you? Like listening to your gut.
And what advice would you give to someone who maybe doesn't know how to tap into that?
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of times we don't listen to our gut feeling because we're scared to, or we're not, we think we don't really know what we're doing. Cause like we said, a lot of times we don't know what we're doing, but I think it's really just trusting yourself. I don't know if there's like a real way, but like just really believing like in what you are doing and in how you're feeling about that moment in that situation, whether it's business, relationships, whatever it is. I think like deep inside, we know what's best. And it's just a matter of us trusting ourselves more than anything else to like move forward with that feeling.
And I think I think it's totally okay to like ask yourself, like, what is my gut telling me? Like, take a moment, like journal about it, write from a stream of consciousness. Like just ask yourself. And I feel like that's just really sound advice for like anyone that is kind of unclear on like how they're feeling. You can always ask yourself, there's consciousness up here, like we can ask ourselves 100%. How we're feeling about something.
And I feel like even if it doesn't come up for you in the like immediately, just start somewhere and then it will like come out.
Yeah.
Like I love that you said like
it's like a fart.
No, I'm kidding.
Coming out one way or another.
Exactly, like a stream of consciousness, because it's so true. It's like sometimes I'll come to realizations, not immediately, but after I've like kind of sat there for a while and let my mind get there, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But it's like it's not immediate, so don't get discouraged, I guess, if it's not like very clear to you right off the bat. Like you have
sometimes
to
you're not going to have a feeling, like it's not going to happen every time. Like sometimes you really don't like know,
don't know.
Yeah, but I think when you do, you have to listen to it.
Right.
Love that.
So good.
All right. And our next question is, what is your best biz pro tip? So this could be like a mindset hack, or it could be like an app that you use, something that like makes the chaos a little clearer.
I think like, honestly, like I'm so old school with some stuff. For me, is just like my notebook. Like I just write everything, every single idea. Like, I mean, anything that comes up that I have to do, or maybe do in like a week or whatever it is, I'm a pen and paper girl. I do keep my notes app on my phone is like the hottest mess you've ever seen. Cause when I'm on the go, like I just put stuff on there. But when it comes to like sitting on my computer and having to get shit done, like that's my pen and paper. I scratch off when I did it and it just feels great. And
keep God, literally best feeling in the world.
I'm not like a huge like have a bunch of like business apps kind of person. I tried so many times, like I tried Slack, I've tried like all these other organizational tools, and then end up not using it. It's just like then I have notes like everywhere, and it just becomes more of a mess for me. So for me, it's just like the simple stuff. Get a cool notebook, a pen, There you go.
Yeah. No, I think that's a pro tip because even like a beautiful notebook and a beautiful pen can inspire you, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And it makes you more inclined to like use it as well.
Yeah, and get shit done and scratch shit out.
Yeah, I love that.
Scratch it out.
Okay, amazing. This has been such a great episode. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey with us. We also love your swim. So it's been such a nice journey to have you on today.
Oh, thank you guys. It was super fun. I loved it.
Yeah, so good. I feel very like validated by so many things that you said. So this was like really, really resonating for us. So thank you so much for sharing your time and your knowledge. If people want to follow you and your journey, where can they find you at?
Well, they can follow Nua at Nua Swim on Instagram.
That's N-U-A.
N-U-A, yeah, Nua Swim. Or my personal is Ananda _ And yeah, that's it.
Yay,
am I allowed to offer a discount?
Yes,
okay. Of course.
Throw it out there.
No, so for all your listeners, if they want, we wanted to offer 20% off the site with code WW20 for Whiskey Water. Which, by the way, I was going to ask you guys why that name.
Because, well, it's an ode to our personalities. I don't know if you can tell who would be who, but Jess is whiskey, I'm water. And also, I can't drink because I'm allergic to alcohol, so I always drink water. And Jess's drink. It's okay. I've come to terms with it. It's great. Jess's drink of choice is whiskey. So yeah, and it's like a balance of what we talk about on the show.
It's like an ode to like just
life.
being in like your 20s and 30s. You know what I mean? Like just the balance of
having fun.
I love
doing
it.
business.
Yeah. Well, next time I'm in Miami, we'll have to go out for whiskey, tequila, and water. There we go.
Yes, ma'am.
We're so down.
If you guys have enjoyed this episode, make sure to take a screenshot. Let us know you're listening. If you really loved it, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. And that's it. We'll see you guys next week for another episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye.